How's it going, everybody? My name's Ron. I'm the owner of Leisure Carry. In this video, I'm going to be going over the basics of carrying without a belt inside a drawstring waistband. So let's get to it. So the first thing for us to do is define what play is. Play is simply any unwanted movement of the holster inside the waistband, whether that's tilting out, left, right, or sagging down, or riding up when you're trying to draw. Clips play the primary role in preventing your gun from tipping. They're designed to be able to bite onto something, and if there's nothing for it to bite onto, then it can tilt as much as it wants to. When the clip-on belt is inside your waistband, it provides something for that clip to bite onto, which limits the amount that you can tilt left and right. To limit the amount of sag and the amount of creep that you get when you're trying to draw, the clip-on belt provides 2 extra points of contact. That gives you a wider area for the gun to rest on, and then inversely, when you're trying to draw, it gives you 2 points of contact to pull from. The total length of the waistband is going to impact how much play can possibly occur. The more space that there is for play to occur, the more space will occur. And that's true even for regular belts. Somebody who has a 40-inch waistband is going to have more play than somebody with a 30-inch waistband carrying the same exact equipment, whether they're in a clip-on belt or a regular belt. That doesn't mean it's impossible for people with wider waists to be able to carry beltless. It just means that more factors need to line up in order to be able to do it effectively. Those factors are the weight of the gun, the construction of the waistband, which we'll get into shortly, and how tight the drawstrings need to be. Now you might be thinking, which size belt should I use? I see that Leisure Carry has 2 different options. We have the 11.5-inch belt and the 14.5-inch belt. A good rule of thumb is that you want the reinforced portion of your waistband to be about 30% of the overall length. We came to that number because it's just about eliminating the most amount of play where it actually matters. If you're carrying out appendix, then it doesn't really matter what the back of your waist is doing. The back of your waist after you've tied your drawstrings isn't going to be bouncing around or sagging. The play that you're trying to eliminate is what's happening up here. Most people have these things called hips and butt cheeks, which prevents your pants from falling down. I believe Gen Z calls that being cheeked up. If you're trying to decide which size belt you should use, on the 11.5-inch belt, the spacing between the clips is 9.5 inches. On the 14.5-inch belt, the spacing between the clips is 12.5 inches. Both of them are adjustable downward by 1 and 2 inches. So to calculate what 30% of your waistband would be, you just divide either 9.5 or 12.5 by your waist size. And then whichever one is closer to that 30% mark is the one that you're going to want to go with. An exception to that rule is if you're carrying a spare mag, in which case I usually recommend that you order the size above, because it gives you a little bit more freedom to put that magazine exactly where you want it to be. One common misconception when carrying beltless is that you have to tie your drawstrings extremely tight, and I have not found that to be the case. The construction of your waistband can impact how tight you need to tie them, and typically it's a lot less tight than you initially think. Really quickly, I'm going to go over 5 different types of waistbands and what it's like carrying with each of them. The first one is the old cotton sweat shorts. These have a cotton elastic waistband, and usually these are pretty thick. They also usually have a pretty thick drawstring. These are one of my least favorite to carry in because getting the ulti clips over that thick cotton and then also over that drawstring is kind of a pain, and then it's even more of a pain trying to get it back off. It's not impossible to carry in these, it's just not the most comfortable. The next type of waistband is a type of waistband where the drawstring doesn't go all the way around the waist. The drawstring is sewn into either side of the hips, which means that you can tighten those drawstrings as hard as you can, and you're never going to be able to get rid of this stretch in the back. Like the last pair, it's not impossible to carry with these. I just typically don't carry anything very heavy with them, and I really tighten that drawstring down. This pair is a very thin 1-inch ribbed elastic waistband. These are not my favorite because these specific ones are made for running, and they have a very thin drawstring. And then when that's paired with how thin and flimsy this waistband is, it means that that drawstring is doing almost all of the work, and that's typically not the most comfortable, especially if you're carrying anything a little bit heavier. I'm typically only wearing these and carrying if I'm someplace where I feel like I'm gonna be sitting around for a while out in the heat. This next pair is a very thick ribbed elastic waistband. This type of waistband is meant to be plush and comfortable, and it is both of those things. These are really great for using a cob with, because the waistband on its own has enough tension around your waist where the drawstrings aren't doing a whole lot of work. Plus, it has some extra padding in it so that when you do really tighten down those drawstrings, you don't feel it as much as you do with like those really thin running shorts. So these are tied for my favorite type of waistband with the next pair. The next pair is the compression waistband. So this is like a similar material to what a belly band would be made out of. So this pair and the last pair work out really well because your drawstring doesn't have to do very much work, and the weight is being tensioned to your body over a much wider area. So it ends up being pretty comfortable. I hope you found this video helpful, whether you have a clip-on belt already or are thinking about getting one. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me via the website or any of our social media accounts at Leisure Carry. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you on the next one.